You know that feeling when you're so completely absorbed in something that time just melts away? That's what people call flow, or being in the zone. Today, we're going to crack open the neuroscience behind it and see what's really happening inside your brain when you hit that state of peak performance.
All right, let's just jump right in with a pretty wild idea. What if the secret to being a genius, to performing at your absolute best, isn't about working your brain harder, but actually about learning how to turn parts of it off? I mean, we've all seen it, right? A freestyle rapper just spitting these incredible lyrics that seem to come from nowhere, or an athlete who's performing so flawlessly it's like they're on autopilot, not even thinking. That is flow. So what's the secret sauce here? Is it some kind of magic? Or is there something real, something we can actually measure, that's happening inside their head to unlock all that creativity? Well, to get to the bottom of that mystery, we first have to talk about a kind of superpower that every single one of us has, our brain's amazing ability to literally change itself. Think about it like this. Your brain isn't some fixed piece of hardware you're stuck with. Nope. It's more like software that you can constantly update and rewrite based on your experiences and what you choose to practice. And there's a name for this incredible power, neuroplasticity. It's the very thing that lets us learn, lets us grow, and yeah, it's what allows us to get good enough at something to even have a shot at finding that flow state. Okay, so this brings us to this really cool, groundbreaking experiment where a scientist decided to peek inside the brain of someone in a state of pure creative flow. And who better to study than a freestyle rapper? So you've got this neuroscientist, Charles Lim, and he comes up with this awesome experiment. He puts a professional freestyle rapper inside an fMRI machine, a brain scanner, to see what lights up when he's doing two very different things. So, on one hand, he had the rapper perform a song he already knew by heart, something he'd rehearsed. That was the control. Then, he had him improvise a totally new rap right there on the spot. He was comparing practice versus pure spontaneous creation. All right, so what do you think happened when the rapper switched from just reciting to actually improvising? The results were, well, they were stunning, and they went against everything you might expect. Yeah, you heard me right. Instead of his brain lighting up like a Christmas tree with more activity, a really, really important part of it actually went quiet. It basically just shut down. And the part that went dark, that was the prefrontal cortex. This is the part of your brain that's always planning, always judging your every move, the part that worries about what other people think. It is literally your inner critic. And to find flow, you have to turn it off. So that's the secret. That's the key to the whole thing. You've got to silence that self-conscious, micromanaging part of your mind. It's all about letting go and just trusting the skills you've spent all those hours building. And listen, this isn't just about artists or athletes. This science also explains a super common, and let's be honest, a super frustrating experience that I bet every single one of us has had. I mean, we've all seen it, right? A pro athlete missing an easy shot when the pressure is on, that feeling of choking, that is the exact polar opposite of flow. And guess what? It's caused by that same part of the brain doing the exact opposite of what it's supposed to. So here's what happens when someone chokes. Instead of trusting the thousands of hours of practice that have made a skill automatic, that inner critic, the prefrontal cortex, suddenly grabs the steering wheel. It starts overthinking, consciously analyzing every little movement, and it just gets in the way of that smooth, automated process, leading to, well, failure. Okay, so if overthinking is the bad guy here, the enemy of performance, what do we do about it? How do we apply all this to our own lives and find that flow state, whether we're on a stage, a field, or, just trying to focus at our desk? And this is probably the most important part of this whole thing. The takeaway is not to try harder. No, it's to practice so well, so effectively, that you finally earn the right to stop thinking and just let go. That's how you get there. The mastery that you build through all that practice, that's what gives you permission to tell that inner critic to take a hike. It lets you trust your instincts, let your subconscious brilliance take over. Because real peak performance isn't about thinking harder when it counts. It's about having practiced so hard you don't have to think at all. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. When was the last time you felt that feeling of being totally locked in, completely in the zone? Could have been playing a sport, doing some art, crushing it at work, or maybe even just having a great conversation. Just recognizing that feeling, that's the first step to finding it again.